Educators, welcome to Learn Extra Live. We are doing grade 12 maths literacy. I hope you guys are ready. As you can see, we've got a fresh, brand new teacher today. This is Ilana. Ilana, how are you?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Good, thank you.
Thank
and you
you
guys know Hayley, and you obviously know who I am. I'm
grade
Katleho. Let us know what we'll be doing today, Hayley.
Katleho, today we're going to be doing revision for grade 12s. We're going to be doing some questions out of the paper 2, 2008 paper.
Okay, awesome.
So I think I should go over
Yes,
and we can start.
sure, you can do that. You guys know our Facebook page, facebook.com/Learn Extra, and our Twitter handle is @LearnExtra. Today you can even call us. Call us, guys. Let us know all your questions and queries. Our number is 086-105-8262. I even know this number off by heart. You guys should be calling us as well. Remember that the first 5 callers will be getting these books sent to them directly. These are the winter school books. Remember, our winter school starts on the 2nd of July and it finishes on the 8th of July for you matrics, just for you, just so that you can get ready and steady for your prelims and also other exams that may be happening that you want to know about. Over to you, Hayley.
Thanks, Katleho. Hi, grade 12s. Welcome to today's show. I want to start off by saying that we're going to be doing some revision. We're not looking at numbers today, so if any of you watch my grade 10 show, you know I normally look at numbers. But get hold of us. So call in or put something onto Facebook because we're here to actually help you and to answer your questions. So let's start with the question we've got. Right, we're looking at Mr. Abu of Amandla High School is an educator in charge of English Olympiad. He finds that the number of girls, so we've got the number of girls who enter the first round of the Olympiad is 3 times the number of boys who enter. Now, that's an important fact. Then they give us the table. Table 1, and it says the number of boys and girls entering the first round of the English Olympiad. Now, whenever you have a table, before you even go and answer the questions, understand the table. Really crucial. So what have we got in our table? Let's move it down a little bit. Right, we're looking at the number of boys and girls entering the first round of the English Olympiad. We're looking at the number of boys. We've got 3, 50, and B. We're looking at the number of girls. There's A, 150, and 180. And my guess is we're going to have to work out A and B. So use the given information to determine the missing values of A and B in the table. So let's find a little bit of space, and let's start with A. So what do we know about A? We know the number, we're looking for that number there. The number of boys, we know the number of boys is 3, and we want to know the number of girls. That's our question mark. And what did the information in the text tell us? The text told us, let's go back to that 3 times the number of boys, the number of girls who entered was 3 times then the number of boys. So we know how many boys, therefore we can take that and just multiply that by 3 because we know there are 3 times the number of girls and 3 times 3 is 9. So it's 9 girls and that is A. Then we need to work out B. So what do we know about B? Well, in this case we know how many girls. So we've got 180 girls. And we're looking for the number of boys. Now there's my question mark. And again, what do we know about this? We know that there were 3 times as many girls. So we can take this number and divide it by 3. And you've got your calculator. If you want to use your calculator, then go ahead, use your calculator. But I don't know if we need it for that. 180 divided by 3, what's that going to give me? 60 boys. It's a fairly simple question. But what I just want to point out before we move on is you must understand the table. Because very often when you get a table like this, there's kind of a formula attached. Well, the formula here is written in the words. So it's 3 times. The number of boys is 3 times. The number of girls is 3 times the number of boys. Right, let's move on to the next part of the question. Now we've got the same table. So we can actually enter our, that's not going to work in yellow. We can enter our numbers if we need them. So that was 9 and that was 60. Now it tells us, suppose that there were 2,500 boys entering the first round of the Olympiad. Calculate the total number of learners who entered for the first round of the Olympiad. So now we're looking for the number of boys and the number of girls. So first thing we need to do is let's write out what we've got. We've got 2,550 boys. And we want to know how many girls. And then we're actually looking for the total. So we kind of need to do this in 2 steps. First, let's work out the number of girls. So what did we do? When we had our boys, we times by 3. So we're going to take that and we're going to times it by 3. Now I think let's get our calculator out. So there's a calculator. Right, I've got 2,550 times by 3. And then matrix, just remember, whenever you're entering numbers on your calculator, check that you're entering the correct numbers. And kind of make sense of the answer. What kind of answer am I looking for? I'm looking for something that's bigger, and I can kind of make sense of the answer that I get. So always check you're entering correctly, and I get 7650. So go back to my text, and that was 7650. But that's not my answer, because they wanted the total number of learners. So I need to take those two numbers and add them. Let's get a little bit more space. So I'm going to take my 2550 and add it to my 7650 to get my total. Now on my calculator, if you don't clear the calculator, I've already got the number of girls. So all I need to do is, to that answer, I need to add the number of boys, which was 2550, and I get an answer of 10,200 learners. So we got 10,200 learners in total. Now there's another way that I could have done this. I could have actually said, well, okay, I've got one part and I really need 4 parts. It was 1 part for the boys and 3 for the girls. So I could have taken my original and times by 4 to get the total. But I think it's probably easier to do the way I've done it, where we calculate the girls and then the total. Okay, should we move on to the next question? Right. I think this was the question that Ilana was going to do. So Ilana, do you want to come and do this question? Okay.
Thanks, Heidi.
So let me hand over the pen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so if we read the question, Mr. Abu of Amandla High School is the educator in charge of the English Olympiad. He finds that the number of girls who enter the first round of the Olympiad is 3 times the number of boys. And that's exactly what Haley's just discussed with you. So it's the 3-to-1 ratio. Okay. Number of boys and girls. The table shows us the number of boys and the girls entering the first round of the English Olympiad. And Haley's already worked out for you that this is 9 and B is 60.
So that's all.
Just got to go down the page. Okay, Dina and Mpo wrote the same Olympiad practice test at school. Their marks in percentages are given in the table below. Just going down the page.
A bit more. Yes.
There we go. Sorry. Okay, Dina and Mpo, we've read that. Percentages. Dina got 48, 48, 48, 53, 58, 62, 70, 72, 80, and 86. Those were her test results for the first set of tests. And then Impo, he wrote 1 less test than what Dina wrote, and he got 36, 42, 48, 58, 60, 61, 62, 76, and 86. Umpo's median mark. Now, if you don't remember what the word median means, the word median is middle, the middle mark. How do I remember that it's the middle mark? Is M-I-D is very similar to M-E-D. It's got the same 2 letters at the middle, in the beginning and in the middle, M-D, MD, and they're both vowels which are very, very similar to each other. So I remember middle goes with median. How do I remember which one is mode? Mode goes with most. And then the third measure of central tendency that they could ask us to work out is the mean. And mean is the average mark. I'm sure as we go down, we'll come across all three. So it tells us that Mpo's median mark is 60. So the mark that Mpo got, that was her middle mark, is 60. Let's just check that. 48, we count. 48, 86. 48, 80. 48, 72, 53, 70. And there are two in the middle. There are two marks in the middle. Let me just get a different color pen. There are two marks in the middle. When there are two marks in the middle, we have to add them and divide them by 2. So if we add 58 plus 62, again, if you need a calculator, you can add those on your calculator, or you can do them in your head. Oh, sorry, too high. Okay, so 58 plus 62 is 8, 9, 10. 6 and 5 is 11, carry the 1. So that is 120. And I have to remember that I have to divide that by 2 because there were 2 marks in the middle. So 120 divided by 2 is 60. And that's what the question told us, is that she got 60 in the middle. Calculate Dina's median mark. Let's go find Dina's marks. And now we go 60, that's what we've just calculated. We can check what Mpo's median mark is. Oh, sorry. Gone 2 up. Okay. Calculate Dina's median mark. We just did calculate Dina's median mark. Let's just check that Mpo's median mark is 60. We're going to count into the middle. 36 and 86. 42, 76, 48, 62, 58, 61. And this one has got 1 place in the middle. So they both got a median mark of 60. It's quite important to understand that both the median marks are 60, even though they wrote different number of tests. Now it tells us Dina's mean mark is 62.5. Remember, mean means average. How do I calculate the average? I have to add up all the percentages and divide by how many marks there are. So let's first check that Dina's is correct. I need my calculator for this one. Okay, so I'd like to calculate, I would like to add up all her marks. How do I go?
Yeah, sure, you can.
How do I go down?
Let me help you.
Thank you.
So the calculator's down here. You have to put it down here.
Thank you.
And you can see all the marks. You're doing Dina's.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's just add them up.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we want to add up Dina's 48 plus 48.
Can I come and help you?
Thank you. Plus 48.
Sorry. Let me move this, get the calculator back.
Okay, so we've got 48
Let's
plus...
remember them.
53.
53.
Oh, okay. Can I write them down here? Okay, let me write them down here and then I'll...
Let me move this up to there.
Okay.
Let's get our calculator back. And let's carry on calculating.
Thank
So we
you.
got 48 plus 53.
Plus 53 plus
58.
58 plus 62 plus 70 plus 72 plus 80 plus 86. Matrix, you must remember now to push equals on your calculator. Your calculator will do the order of operations that you type in. If you go and type divide by 2 now, you're not going to get the correct answer. You've got to push equals, which is 625. which is 6, 2, 5. We need to know how many tests did Dina write? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to divide this by 10. On your calculator, if you need to, or you can do that in your head, divide it by 10 equals 62.5. There we go. That is correct. Now it's asking us to calculate Mpo's mean mark.
You know what, Ilana? Can we go for a quick ad break just while they get this ready and they get their calculators done? Because I have a suspicion that no one has their calculators on them. So during this break, you guys can get everything you need ready, all your questions as well, so that we can answer them straight after this break. Bye. Welcome back, Mindsetters, to this awesome June 16 day. I hope you guys are also Googling what it is all about, because it is Youth Day, as you guys know already. I know you know this. Remember that you can also call us today on 086 105 8262, just so that we have all your questions and you guys can chat to us as well. And the first 5 callers will be getting the Maths Literacy or any other book that you guys need, that you guys have to use for our winter school, which is starting on the 2nd of July. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there as well. Ilana, over to you.
Hi, welcome back. Let's now calculate Mpo's mean mark. Let's just change the color pen so we can see the difference. Let's go for green. Let's just get our table back up. Okay, so now what we can see is Mpo's got one less test result. He's got 36, 42, 48, 58, 60, 61, 62, 76, and 86. We're going to follow the same process as we followed to work out Dina's mean mark. We're going to add up all of the percentages, count how many there are, and then divide by that amount of numbers. And just, I'm going to stress again that you need to push the equal sign before you divide. Let's get the calculator, and let's bring it down a bit. There we go. So we're going to do 36. Let's first clear. 36 plus 42 plus 48 plus 58 plus 60 plus 61 plus 62 plus 76 plus 86. Don't forget, at this point we need to push equals, and that gives us 529. Just write that down. It's going to be 529 divided by, should be 9 because it's 1 less than Dina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's get our calculator back. 529 divided by 9. That gives us, SD, to put it into decimal form, 58. If we're rounding this off to 1 decimal place, we're going to look at the 7 in the second place. The 7 tells us to bring the first 7 up to 8. 58.8. If we were rounding it off to the first, to the unit column, this 7 would tell us to make this 8 go up to a 9. But seeing though that we've rounded this one off to 2 places, let's keep to 1 place. Let's keep this one to 1 place. So 58.8. Just go back to the green pen. 58.8. So if we had to compare these two averages, it looks like Dina's average, well it is, Dina's average is slightly more than Mpo's average or mean. Let's move on to 1.3. Okay. Calculate the range. We just have to remember what the word range means. Range means the biggest number minus the smallest number. Okay, so we go back to our table with our marks. And we should check that they're in order first. We should have checked that in the beginning, that we check that they're in order from the smallest mark to the biggest mark. I just saw that they were in order, so I carried on. I forgot to mention that. Are they in order? Yes. So Dina's range would be 86 minus 48. The biggest number minus the smallest number. Let's write that down. 86 minus 48. Let's keep hers in orange. 86 minus 48. Either use your calculator or do that in your head. I'm going to go for the calculator. 86 minus 48, and that's equal to 38. So I've got to get a pen. That was 38. I know it hasn't asked us to calculate Umpo's range, but let's do his anyway. It's always a good measure to compare the two. So Umpo's range would be the biggest number. They're in the correct order from smallest to biggest would be 86 minus 36. And let's just change color. So his would be 86 minus 36. And let's do that on our calculator. Well, we don't really need to. We can say that that is 50. If you weren't sure, please take out your calculators and use your calculators. They must be your best friend. It's just good to have a comparison to see that Dina's biggest minus smallest is less than Umpo's biggest minus smallest. Okay, now let's look at 1.3.4. Dina stated that she did better in her practice tests than what Umpo did. Give 2 reasons to support Dina's claim. Well, 2 things we can look at. We can look at the mean mark. We can look at 3 things in this question. We can look at the mean mark, we can look at the median mark, and we can look at the range, the biggest minus smallest. Let's just summarize that information at the bottom of our page. Okay, so let's have a look at Dina first. Let's look at Dina's mean. Let's look at Dina's median.
Do you think we should maybe just discuss it with them, Ilana, and then we can move on to another question as well?
Okay.
We can just discuss it. I think that their median, if I remember correctly, was
up to
the
the
same.
page.
So how then can we say that the one is better than the other when their median was the same?
We'll have to look at their mean marks, their averages.
So their median's the same, we know that. So now we're going to look at their mean, and in the mean we saw that whose was better?
Dina's mark was better. Dina's mean was 62.5, and Umpo's mark was 4 less.
Okay, so Dina so far is doing better on the average. What do we say,
I
Kat? We're
said
doing better on the
Dina's doing
average.
great.
And then we're going to look at their range. And we said that the range, in actual fact, Dina's was smaller. But why is a smaller range better?
I would say, Hayley, that the smaller the range, the closer together the marks, which means her marks are more consistent. And they're closer. If you look at the maximums are both 86, so and the minimums are both, the one is 48 and Umpo's is 36, which means that Dina's marks are closer together and higher than 48.
So that's great, Matrix. Did you get that? When the range is smaller, what you need to remember is that it is more consistent. And especially seen as we're dealing with the maximum here of the same value. So then when they're closer together, it makes it more consistent. And guys, you can honestly give your examiners any answer, as long as it makes sense and they can follow your train of thought. Am I not right,
You
Ilana?
have to substantiate. You've got to explain why you are saying what you are saying. You can't just say things. You've got to explain that the person who's reading your work understands why you are saying what you're saying, which it will get you the marks.
Okay, perfect. Should we move on to the next question?
Thanks, Hayley.
Do you want to start the next question?
Okay. How do I
Just
go into-
move. Okay,
The next, oh, here.
there you
Okay.
go.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
Is it the same?
let's just have a look. It's the same question. How do we go to the next
No,
question?
okay,
Oh.
practice. Go to, start reading 1.4.
Oh, okay, so 1.4. Sorry. Dina and Umpo both practice speed reading in order to improve the time they spend reading text. Umpo reads at a rate of 2 words per second. That means every 2. Let me just underline that first. Umpo reads at a rate of 2 words per second. In 1 second, she reads 2 words. Dina found that she can read 2 pages with an average of 270 words per page within 3 minutes. Let's just highlight that because that is an important piece of information. She can read 2 pages with an average of 270 words per page. That means on every page, and that's taking her 3 minutes. Show by calculation whether Dina reads at a faster rate than Umpo. If we are going to
Ilana, sorry, before you carry on, so that they can write everything down and get their thoughts in, can we go for a quick ad break, please?
Sure, thank
Thank you. Guys, during this ad break, you can ask any questions that you perhaps had on the last and any questions that you have on this one. Perhaps you need some clarification of sorts or anything. Send it through to us because we're here for you. See you after the break. Welcome back, Mindsetters. I'm glad to see you guys interacting on the page. Would love to see more of you on this fine June 16 Saturday chatting to us here at Learn Extra Live. Remember that you can also call us and our number is 086 105 8262. This number you can use to actually ask all the questions that you may have on your maths literacy syllabus so that Haley and Ilana can go through them for you. And that's what we're here for. Hey, Haley.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we've had a little bit of a swap around. I've decided that I'm going to carry on with this question for you, so I hope you don't have a problem with that. But I hope that you're actually paying attention, that you are doing the calculations before I get to them. And if there's anything that you do need, guys, come on, you know how to get hold of us. So call in. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to be able to help you kind of personally. Okay, so let's carry on. We were discussing this. Dina and Umpo were practicing the speed reading. We knew that Umpo read at a rate of 2 words per second, and that was important, as Ilana pointed out. Now we need, Dina works at a rate of 270 words per page, but she actually reads 2 pages with an average of speed of 270 words per page within 3 minutes. So what we need to do is we need to calculate whether they're faster. So we need to compare the same thing. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to try and work out how many words Dina read per second. We're going to compare the same value. So let's see, what do we actually know? And let's write this out. So we know that she can read 2 pages. 2 pages. And we know that with an average of 270 words per page. So we're going to times that by 270 words. And she does this all in 3 minutes. But I want to compare things to seconds. So first let's work out how many words that is. So I'm going to say 2 times 270 to see how many words that is. 2 times 270, I'm going to use the calculator. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Is 540 words. So we have 540 words in 3 minutes. What happened to my M? 3 minutes. But I want to know how many words in 1 second. So I need to convert my minutes into seconds. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to times that by 60, because again, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So I actually have 540 words. Whoops. 540 words in 6 threes are 180 seconds. And now I want my thing per second. So this is a ratio. And sometimes you guys don't see that it's a rate question. Sometimes you don't see that it's a rate question. And you know that you're going to need to take one and divide or multiply by the other. So let's just check, what do we have to do? We actually want to know 1 second. So I need to convert my 180 into 1. How am I going to do that? I'm going to divide by 180. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to divide by 180. And that's going to give me my answer of words per second. So let's get a calculator out. I've got my 540. Let's divide it by 180. And I get an answer of 3. So my answer is 3. So I have 3 words in 1 second. So that means we want to calculate whether she's faster, rate then always go back and reread your question, because we've got an answer now, but is our answer complete? Not really. We need to actually still answer the question whether she is faster. And then we can say, yes, she is faster because she reads at 3 words in a second, as opposed to Impulse, who's reading 2 words in a second. Now, coming back to the rate for a second, I know that you guys tend to know that you need to either multiply or divide. Always ask yourself this question: am I expecting an answer that is smaller or bigger than? And in this case, I wanted an answer that was smaller, so dividing 540 by 180 gave me that number, so it makes sense. I think it's time to leave these two and move on to our next question. Right, so this is also adapted from the November 2008 Department of Education paper 2, and we're now dealing with question 2. And this is this area and volume and surface area that some of you out there have been requesting. So, Kateho, you can tell them that we are busy with it. Right, Tandi washes her dishes by hand 3 times daily in 2 identical cylindrical basins. She uses one basin for washing the dishes and the other for rinsing the dishes. Each basin has a radius of 30 centimeters and a depth of 40 centimeters, as shown in the diagram below. So where's our diagram? There's our basin. We've got a radius and we've got a depth. Makes sense of the diagram. She's considering buying a dishwasher that she will use to wash the dishes daily. So we've got her dishwasher, picture of a dishwasher. Right, what does the question say? The question says, calculate the volume of 1 cylinder basin in centimeters cubed. And then we've got our formula. Now, what's really important about this section, always look at your question, find out what unit they want the answer in, and convert first. It always makes it a whole lot easier. So I'm going to go back to my drawing, my radius. I don't know where my drawing was. Right, my radius was 30 and my depth was 40. So let's go back to the calculation and a little bit more space here. I've got my formula. Volume of the cylindrical basin is pi times the radius. What was my radius? Was 30 centimeters squared times by the height, which was 40 centimeters. And then look out for this little word, those little words, right? When they say use pi equals 3,14, it's really important that you follow those instructions. So where I had pi here, I'm actually going to delete it and I'm going to say 3,14. Now the reason is that you're going to then get the same answer that's in your teacher's memo, which always makes it a whole lot easier for them. I don't think they'll mark it wrong if it's you use pi, not to my experience, but it's always nice when you've got the same answer as the teacher, because then it's easier for her to kind of give you marks. Don't you agree, Lana?
I do agree with that.
Okay, so let's get our calculator out. So on our calculator, rather than using the pi button, I'm going to say 3,14 times by 30 squared times by 40, and I get an answer of 113,040. 113,040. And don't forget your units. Now we were dealing with centimeters. We're dealing with volume, which is cubed. So your units, and that's what they actually asked. They asked for it in centimeters cubed. So our answer is perfect. And remember, that was 1 basin. I'm sure we're going to need this number later. We'll have to try remember it. Let's move on to the next question. Right. Tandi fills each basin to half its capacity whenever she washes or rinses the dishes. Calculate how much water in liters she will use daily to wash and rinse the dishes by hand. So she fills it half. Now we had 2 basins. And if each basin is half full, we can actually calculate it as 1 basin. So we have already calculated the volume of 1 basin. So because I've got 2 basins but half each, I'm going to count it as 1. So that number was, what was that number? 113,040.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
That
Am I
was
right? 113,040 centimeters cubed. So that is what she uses to wash the dishes once. Now, somewhere earlier in the question, in the back of my mind, I remember saying that she washes the dishes 3 times daily. So they want to know how much water she uses in total. So let's go back to our question. We had 2 basins. Right. And we want to know, the question says, calculate how much water in liters she will use daily. So we need to do this, and we need to take this calculation, and we actually need to times it by 3. Because she uses that once. And she's going to throw away the water, because otherwise that would be not so great. So we've got our number there anyway, times that by 3 to get how many she uses. So it's 339,120. So she uses 339,120 centimeters cubed daily. And the question wanted to know how much in liters. Now they tell me that 1,000 centimeters cubed is 1 liter. So I'm going to take this answer and I'm going to divide by 1,000 centimeters cubed, because then I'm going to get the number of liters. So on my calculator, I can take, I've already got the number, divide by 1,000, check, always check your calculator, is 339,12. So she uses 339,12 liters. Now, when you get this answer, they didn't tell us if we needed to round up or down, or did they? They said calculate how much water in liters. We've given them the answer. So I would leave my answer to 2 decimal places. Because remember, at the beginning of your instructions, it's always going to say 2 decimal places. So let's leave our answer like that. But if I wanted to, I would round that off. And I would probably round it off to 339 liters. I think that 0.12 of a liter is not going to make a huge difference to her washing of her dishes. Let's move to the next question. Now it says, a manufacturer of a dishwasher claims that their dishwasher used 9 times less water in comparison to washing the same number of dishes by hand. How much water would this dishwasher use to wash Tandi's dishwasher daily? So we know how much she needs to wash her dishes. Can't remember that number there. 339. So she had 339 to wash by hand. And we want to know if she uses this dishwasher, and it says 9 times less. So we're going to divide that answer by 9. That's how much water would this dishwasher use to wash Tandi's dishes. And we take our answer, take our calculator. Hey, right, got our calculator. And I'm having a fight with the calculator here. 339, and in actual fact I've still got the decimals, so let's put the decimals in, divide it by 9, and I end up with 37,68 liters. So that's what the claim is. Let's see what the next part of the question is. Is the claim of the manufacturer realistic? Justify your answer by giving a reason. So 37,68 liters of water. Is that realistic? In that the answer 9 times less, justify your answer. And you'll probably find that it is justified. So 37 liters is quite a large amount of water. Okay. First of all, when you're washing by hand, you tend to be washing dishes. She was washing the dishes 3 times a day. With a dishwasher, you wait until your dishwasher's full, and then you would run, so you're not washing as often. And I think that that the claim is justified and realistic. But I need you to think of other reasons. Kind of think outside the box, guys. Give us an answer, but justify your answer. And make a decision and stick with that decision. Okay, don't waffle. I think I'm waffling now. But make a decision and say whether it's realistic or not. The nice thing about these kind of questions is that there is no right or wrong answer. So if you say it's not justified, and you can explain that it's not justified, and off the top of my head, I can't think of any reason it's not. But if you can answer it and justify it, then we will give you the marks. But I think on that note, I think maybe it's time for a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
So I'm going to hand you to Katlego.
Thank you, Haley. Guys, let's go for a little bit of a break. Don't wash dishes during this break because then you'd miss the whole next segment
Might
of
use
the
too
show.
much water.
And you'll use too much water. See you after the break, guys. Welcome back, Mindsetters, from that really, really quick break. I know you guys are keen to get your hands onto more maths literacy questions. Remember that you can call us today. You can actually call us on 086 105 8262. And the first 5 callers will be getting this maths literacy or any other subject that you want. The first 5 callers will be getting this sent directly to them. And if you perhaps don't have airtime or you can't call us, don't worry, because there's also Facebook and you can ask us questions there. And we made your life so much easier because there's actually a link there so that you can download the winter school booklet, as well as all the times and slots and subjects that we will be going through in the winter school, which is starting on the 2nd of July. Over to you, Ilana.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. We are still busy with Tandi and her dishwasher. We're now going to look at the financial implications of her buying a dishwasher and to see which option is better for her to buy, to take a loan from the bank or to take a loan from the shop. So let's go down the page. Okay, so it says to us, Tandi decides to buy a dishwasher based upon the advertisement below. Come to Best Buy dealers for the best deals in town. Best Buy dealer says to us that a dishwasher, if we pay cash, is going to cost us 2,699 Rand, or we've got an option of paying a 10% deposit plus 24 equal monthly installments of 177 Rand and 53 cents. 24 monthly equal installments means we're paying it over 2 years. Let's just go down the page. Okay. Says to us, let's just go down. There. Okay, suppose Tanya decides to buy the dishwasher using the installment option, this option over here. What is the balance owing after paying the deposit? Okay, so it's 2,699 Rand. And it tells us it's a 10% deposit. So we're going to times it by 10%, or you can times it by 10 over 100. It's the same thing. It means the same thing. 10% is 10 over 100. And we're going to work that out first. We need to first know what the deposit is before we can work out what is the balance after paying the deposit. If you need a calculator to work this out, we can use a calculator, or you can do it in your head. Let's do it on the calculator for those of us who need it. 2,699 times 10 over 100, and it gives us 269.90. $269.90. That is quite an easy calculation to do in your head, however. When you're writing money, please don't forget that you can't write what the calculator said, 269.9. You need to add in the extra 0 because it's money. Okay, let's go down the page, see what it says. We haven't worked out the balance after paying the deposit. We still have to work that out. That would be the 2,699 minus the deposit of 269.90, which is equal to, let's take out our calculator to work that out. We've got 2699 minus, you can either use the answer button or you can type in again. And make sure that you're typing everything correctly, because the calculators can be a bit sensitive at times, and SD that to get the decimal. So if I pay a 10% deposit, this is the amount of money that I still need to pay, 2,429 Rand and 10 cents. Let's just get a pen. 2429, and again, don't forget that it's not comma 1, it's comma 10, 10 cents. And you should put in your Rand sign as well. So that's how much I still will have to pay if I'm paying a 10% deposit. Let's move to the next question. Let's get some more space. It says to me, calculate the total cost of the dishwasher if I'm buying it on the hire purchase option, the loan option from the shop. Let's go back and see. It tells me that there's 24 equal monthly installments of 177.53. So let's take the 177.53, 177, 53, and we're going to times that by 24 equal monthly payments. We're going to need our calculator for that one. 177.53 times 24 SD, that gives us 4,260 and 72 cents. Okay, let's just get a pen. 4,200, I have to just check that amount again. 4260.72. 260.72. That's not the total cost of the dishwasher, however. This is just the 177.53 24 times. We've got to take that and add our deposit to that amount to get the total cost over the 2 years. So let's just change our pen, and we're going to add the 269.90, and that is the total cost over the 2-year period. Let's get our calculator. We've got the 4,260.72. We can just add the 269.90, and that gives us 4530.62. 4530.62. That's how much in total, don't forget your Rand sign, she is going to pay over the 2 years. Let's move on to the next question. Let's just go back up. If we compare that to the cash price, that is quite a big difference. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And let's see what they say to us. Okay, 2.4.2 says to us, suppose Tandy takes a loan from ABC Bank for the full cash price of the dishwasher. She is charged an interest rate of 18%. That's an important figure. Per annum, and it's compounded monthly. That means interest is added every single month, and agrees to repay the loan over 2 years in equal monthly installments. The 2 years is also quite an important number. Use the formula A equals NP 1 plus I to the N to calculate the total amount to be paid back, where A is the total amount to be paid back, P is the loan, I is the monthly interest rate, and N is the number of months over which the loan will be taken. Let's move down. Get some space. And let's identify. The A is the total amount to be paid back. That's what we're looking for. That's the amount that we're looking for. The loan amount, how much do we have to loan from the bank? Well, we'd like to loan the cash price because that's what I'd like to pay them. 2699. I is the monthly interest rates, which we've already highlighted. It's 18%. And the number of months over which the loan will be taken is 2 years, which means 24 months. 12 times 2. And we use the formula that they give us. We use the exact formula as they give us. Even if we're not used to that formula, they're asking us to use this formula. You substitute, you plug in the numbers in the letters that they've asked us to use, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so A, where's my formula? Here's the formula that I'm using, equals N, which is the number of months, which is 24. P, which is the amount I'd like to loan, so that's times 2699. 1 plus the interest rate, which must be as a percentage. So either you can change that to 0.18, or you can use it as 18 over 100. It's the same as 18%. And N is the 24. Okay, and we're going to use our calculator to work that out. Okay, let us move our page down so I can see all those numbers. And bring the calculator back. I'll just move that down a bit. Okay. We're going to have to remember these numbers or go slowly. It's going to be, let's clear, 24 times 2699, open our bracket, 1 plus 18 over 100. Again, I'm going to stress that you can use this as 0.18. We need to close our bracket, and it tells us to the power of, and we're going to use 24. And equals, and we get, that's very big. 20, oh, that's very big.
Elana, I think that is a mistake in the formula.
That's what I thought. But I thought they were giving it to us on purpose to use that way. This 24 shouldn't be there. It is right that there's a mistake.
There's a mistake. There shouldn't be the
The
24.
24. Okay, how do I cross it out? There is
Take a white
definitely a white pen. And this N should not be there. That's why I thought we just use the formula as it is, but there's clearly a mistake in that formula. So what I would like to do is to rub out this 24, and we've got that. Calculator, let's retype that in. We can go back and just clear that 24 away. There we go. Delete, delete. That's much better, because otherwise that is a very expensive washing machine. And one other mistake I've made, sorry, is that this should be 1,200, because it's compounded monthly. I forgot about that for a second. I'm so sorry. This should be 1,200. Okay, now let's go back to our calculator and fix that up. And insert a 2 and equals. That is a much better price for the dishwasher. Let's just get that down. 3858, 23 cents if we're rounding off correctly. 3858. 3858. I'm sure we can ignore the cents there, because a matter of 20 cents is not going to make a difference when I'm paying 3,858 rand.
Are you ready for a break, Ilana?
Yeah.
Take a very quick break.
Quick break.
So guys, we'll be taking a very quick break. Remember that everything that you need answered, we can answer for you today. So send us your queries, call us if you need to call us, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, Mindsetters. I hope you guys are ready and steady and excited for this last part. Haley and I will be answering a question. Langa Samuel, you asked this question. It is from it's question 5. In case that you guys want to look it up, I'll read it to you, Haley, so that you can get what's going on.
Question 5 from the same paper that we've been dealing with, I believe.
The November 2008 one.
In the November 2008. And now I believe it's the one on ratio, and I believe that there's quite a few of you that have got questions on ratio, and this is why we're doing this question now. So I think that I need to know something about black tiles and white tiles. I need to get the facts from Katejo. So Katejo, give me the facts, and
Let
I'm
me
going to try write them
let
down.
me read it for you, and then we'll
Okay.
extract the facts. So Naledi High School decides to tile the floor of their school hall using black and grey tiles. The hall is L-shaped. A rectangular stage is located against one wall of the hall, as illustrated in the sketch.
So we need to see
The
this.
width of the stage is 5 meters and the length is 10. The stage is not going to be tiled. The size of a square tile is 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. The school needs to calculate how many tiles to buy.
Okay, so we have 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters is the tile area. Right, what we need to do, and now we needed the ratio, just give me that ratio for a second. It was 4 to 1.
That's
Of
it.
black to grey.
Of
What have we
black to
got?
grey.
Black to grey, and we need 4 to 1. And the question was how many black tiles?
Yes, well, the question that was asked was calculate the number of boxes to black.
Boxes of black.
Yeah,
So
black
we need the
boxes
boxes
of black
of
tiles.
boxes of black. Okay, so
And
now
it says that tiles come in boxes of 12.
and there's 12 per box.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so there's quite a lot of information that we've got, and there's quite a lot of information that we need. So first of all, we need to work out how many tiles we need in total. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And in fact, the thing we're going to do before that is we're going to work out the area of our, so that's our calculation. We need our area of the hall. So the area to be tiled. Now, I believe that Katlejo, you got this answer.
Yes,
The
well, we've been given the total number of tiles,
Have
which
we
is
not got the
924.
area? Have we not got the area to be tiled?
The area, no, we don't have.
So we don't have the area to be tiled. Okay, well, how you would have calculated the total number of tiles is you would have worked out the area to be tiled, and you would have worked out the area of the tile, and we would have done this all in meters squared, and we would have got an answer. So our answer with number of tiles was 924.
4.
So we need 924 tiles. Right, now we're going to use that fact. So this is our ratio. And this, funnily enough, is a ratio that comes up quite often where we need to split something into a set amount or in a set ratio. So we need 924 tiles. And we want them in the ratio of 4 to 1. So what that 4 to 1 means, I'm just checking, it was 4 to 1. What that 4 to 1 means is that for every 4 black tiles, I have 1 grey tile. So in total, in a pattern, I actually have 5 tiles. So I have 5 in a pattern. I'm talking about 1 grey and 4. So what I do is I add up the ratios. Then I'm going to take my total number of tiles that I need, and I'm going to divide it by how many parts do I need. Because in one kind of frame, I've got 5 tiles. So I'm going to take 924 and divide it by 5. I'll use my calculator for this. Get my calculator out. So I have 924, and we're going to divide that by 5. And I get an answer of 184.8. Now, I can't work in 0.8 of a tile, so I'm going to round up. And the thing with tiles, remember, you can never round down because you can't have a space that is missing. So if I had to make that 184, I'm going to end up with part of the hall that is not tiled. So we always round tiles up. So it's 185 tiles. And that is basically 185 tiles per part. Right, so there were 5 parts in one little thing. Remember, it was one grey, 4 black. There were 5, so we got 5 parts. So it's per part. But I actually had 4 black parts. So I'm going to take my 185 and I'm going to times it by 4. And then on my calculator, I can do that. So I had 184 times by 4 parts that were black. 185, you're right, thanks, Ka. Right, let's go back, 185. And what do I keep saying to you guys? Check your calculators. And I forgot to check myself. 740 tiles. So I need 740 black tiles. And in actual fact, I only need 185 grey tiles, because that's times by 1. And now they want you to know how many boxes. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide by how many in a box? There were 12 in a box. So we use our calculator. And we're going to take that 740, divide by 12. And we can see that we need 61,67. Again, I'm going to have to round up. So I can't have 0.6 of a box, so I'm going to make it 62. But when you're doing these calculations, when you get an answer like this, I want you to actually show the answer that you got on your calculator. Let's do it in a different color. I want you to show that you had 61,67, and then tell us that in actual fact we need 62 boxes. Just because it makes it easier, and it's always nice for the examiner to see exactly what you're doing and for you to understand and for us to understand that you know what you're doing. So that's what we're going to do, 62 boxes. So I hope that actually clears up the confusion.
Yes, that does clear up.
So I hope that you now can work that out. And should we go back to one of our questions?
Let's
and I think
do
we're going to go back to question 5, in fact. Let's just find question 5. Right. So we're now back to... Oh, question 6. Right. Jason Reed is a professional soccer player. In 2005, he negotiated a 5-year contract with Shire Football Club. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Jason's starting salary with the club was 178,500 Rand per year, excluding bonuses, with an assured salary increase of 5% per year. The table below shows Jason's annual salary, excluding bonuses, for the first 5 years. And now we've got our salary. So we've got a salary in rands, years, and we see that he starts off with 178,500, and 2006 is blank. They've given us 2007 and 2009. So let's see what the question asks. Let's find the question. Question asks, calculate Jason's annual salary for 2006. So 2006 was his 2005 salary, which, do you think I could remember, was 178,500. Let's go to the next page. 178,500. And we know that every year he gets a 5% increase. So what I need to do is times it by 105%. You can times by 5% and then add it, or you can times by the 105% all in one. I think we've done that during the term. So let's get our answer on our calculator. We've got 178,500 times by 105%. Get an answer of 187,425. 187,425. 187,425. And don't forget your units. We are dealing with rand. Remember, maths, let's always got a reference. So units, units, units. Every question should have a unit. So don't forget that. We now need to work out his total salary for the first 5 years. So we're going to have to add all his salaries. I'm going to have to go back one page. Add all his salaries. So I've got 2005. I've just calculated 2006. So I can add that, although I've got it on my calculator. So I'm going to say it's on the calculator. Let's calculate, although I'm going to have to clear the calculator. So let's fill in this number. Right, what was that? What number? It was 187,425. 187,425. We need to calculate 2008. So let's do that on our calculator. We're going to take our amount that we earned in 2007, 196,796.25, and times that by 105% to get an answer. We've got 206,636, and we're going to add the other 4 amounts. So now add to that 178,500 plus 187,425 plus 196,796.25 and plus the last year, let's move our calculator for a second, 216,967.87. I think I'm in the wrong profession. 986,325 rand and 18 cents is what he earned in 5 years. 986,325. So let's give our answer. And I'm hoping Katlego wrote that
Yes,
number.
I did.
So it was 9.
That's 986
986
325
325.
0.1825. I don't know how-
0.18. Right, and that is rands. So he earned in 5 years nearly R1 million. Yeah, definitely think football was the way to go. Okay, during the 2007 football, Sire football offered each player bonuses. They will give players the following bonuses. So they're going to get 450 rand for each goal they scored and 800 rand for each game they won by the team. So the football club won 70% of the 30 games they played, and Jason scored 5 goals during 2007. Now we need to calculate the bonus earned by Jason. So remember, we got bonuses. We got 2 different ways of getting bonuses. There was for winning the game, and there was for scoring. So how many games did they play? They played 30 games. Of those, they won 70%, which gives me 21 games. And for each one, they're going to get 800 rand. He scored 5 goals, and for each goal that he scored, he's getting 450 rand bonus. And that one I think I need the calculator for. So I'm just going to go back to the calculator. I'm going to say, well, he had, let me my calculator again, there were 30, I think I did that way too fast. 30 games at 70 was 21 games. And now we want to know 5 times 450. So he gets 2,250 for scoring the goals. And what we didn't do was get an answer here. 21 times 800. Go back to our calculator. 21 times 800.
Hayley, you've typed 20, not 21.
I keep doing that. 21 times 800, thank you, was 16,800. And now we can add his, what he got for scoring the goals. So he earns a total of 19050. 19050. So total, we add them, was 19050. Then it says calculate the bonuses earned for the game. The bonus earned by Jason for the game, won by the team. Oh, I've just done that. Over the scored, I think I did them both together, and then his total. Hence, calculate Jason's total. I was trying to get everything in before we ended the session that I went ahead and did the whole question in one rather than breaking it down. And I always tell you guys to read the question carefully. So kind of don't follow my instruction. Read the question carefully and answer the question as they give it to you. But I've done this, calculated the bonus, and now we can calculate his total. So we've done that calculation. So I think that I need to take a deep breath. And guys, what you need to do is actually check that you've read correctly. Check your calculator, because I keep making a mistake on the calculator. And I think that it's time for me to actually say good luck for your exams and just try and enjoy them, take them one step at a time. But we'll be here for winter school. And what else have we got? We've got winter school, and we've got revision. And
we've got the revision on Saturday.
Saturday's revision. So we're still here for you. And carry on with the Facebook. But I'm going to hand you over to Kat now, and I will see you again soon.
Thank you, Hayley. Although we have no more live shows, guys, remember that we do have our revision shows on Saturdays. So we'll never leave you. Don't worry. We are here for you all the time. Our winter school does begin on the 2nd of July and ends on the 8th of July. And during that time, anything that you want to clarify, and then by then you'll know what happens, like what did happen during your exams, so you have a good idea of where are the areas that you need more help in. And also, let me read the dates as well for the next week Saturday, same time, same place. Although it's not live, we're here to revise with you, so you can still ask us anything. And those of you who are still writing exams, good luck to you. Good luck. Study hard, learn more, and learn extra. And we'll see you when we come back. Bye.